ENGWE's back with another fat-wheeled e-bike with those iconic 4-inch wide tires. And this is the Engine Pro, but it is now version 3.0 Boost. And why Boost? Well, there is a boost button on this that allows this model here to give you more additional power for those climbs or just starting out, and it's up to 90 Newton meters of torque, which is impressive. So this bike is foldable. You can fold it in half right here. The handlebars also comes down. It has full suspension to it, 180 millimeter hydraulic disc brakes, which have really good braking performance. And then with the spongy fat tires, they are using now a hybrid urban style tread to them, and they have 3 millimeters of anti-puncture resistant material to them, just so you don't get any flats with a bike like this. Now the motor, it's 250 watts, that's the output, and it gets you up to 25 kilometers per hour. So it is legal here in Europe. And the battery, Samsung sells, it charges this 15 amp hour battery in just 2 hours, and it can give you a range of up to 130 kilometers, which is impressive for 20-inch sized wheels. Now those brakes, they don't have any brand name on them, but they do work really good. In fact, well above average. You'll see later in my braking test. Now the tires, these are from Chaoyang. They are some hybrid urban tires, they're calling them, with this tread pattern. In fact, I think they're better and more well suited to this kind of bike than the knobbly tires, which are quite loud, poor rolling resistance. These roll a little bit better. Now they have a 3 millimeter anti-puncture layer to them. So the front shock here, this has 50 millimeters of travel. You've got adjustable preload. You can lock it out completely. And the rear shock, 62 millimeters of travel. And it's their own branded shock here, but it does seem to work well, and it helps just cushion that ride a little bit more, which is good. And then the rear hub motor, so 250 watts, 90 Newton meters of torque, is the most powerful when you're in the boost mode. So that is great. And the same 180 millimeter hydraulic disc brakes there. These mudguards are made out of plastic, so they cut down on the rattle, the noise from them. Stone chips will not cause any rust or corrosion or whatever later on, which is good. I think they should be plastic on this style of bike. It also does reduce the weight a little bit. And a rear bike rack that does come with it. This can handle up to 25 kilos. And we get a tail light that is nice and bright with a reflector below it, but it's not two-stage. So when you brake, it doesn't get any brighter. It's just always on like this. A really nice, soft, spongy seat. Very wide, comfortable, and it does have some cushioning there, like a suspension system to help soak up some of those bumps, and a quick release too with it. The pedals are from Welgo, very standard model there with reflectors built into them. No complaints from me with these pedals, they are good. Shimano tourney here for our Duralius, a very entry-level standard from Shimano, but it works and it's decent enough. The chain, this is an anti-corrosive chain, so it's got a paint coating over it and no issues with it, seems to be just fine. And then we have the 7 speeds here. And it is using a torque sensor, much better than a speed sensor. So the power delivery is instantaneous, it is nice and smooth, and overall a better experience when riding. The Engine Pro 3.0 Boost does come with 4G modem built into it, Bluetooth, and GPS, so it can find out where exactly it is. It has anti-theft and an app for it. Standard Shimano shifter here for the 7 speeds. It does work well, and we have hydraulic brake levers which have a very nice feel to them, but again, no branding on this, and lock grips for the grips with a palm support. These don't move and are very comfortable. On the left, we have our controls for the screen, so up and down the pedal assist levels. There are 5 in total. There's a horn built into the front headlight, reasonably loud, and this is to cycle through the trip computer. And here we have our boost mode. So pressing this will give us the maximum power, so the 250 watts and that 90 Newton meters of torque. So great for starting out on rides or when you have a really steep climb. There is handlebar height adjustment right here. And holding down the up power assist level, it will then turn on that front rear headlight. In fact, no, the red tail light is always on, I believe. It's just the headlight that comes on. So we get this very powerful 2 LEDs right here, and then our reflector. Overall, very good headlight on this, really nice and bright. The display very clear, as you can see. Really do like this display. So we have trip information, odometer, and you can see average speeds too as well. Pedal assist level, so that goes all the way up to 5 or completely off, and very clear reading there of my speed and the battery percent. So it's great that it shows me an exact percentage here and not just those 5 bars that you typically get. 15 amp hour battery using Samsung cells. A lot of brands, they don't disclose what kind of cells they're using, and that is normally because it'll just be generic Chinese cells. But no, these are branded Samsung cells. So you get 2 keys with it, and it's very easy to unlock the battery and remove it. It just drops down like so, and then you can lift it right out. One of the big positives of this battery is it's really quick to charge. So it only takes 2 hours to fully charge. So it's going to be great for people that are, say, food courier drivers, something like Uber Eats, for example. You're riding the bike a lot during the day. You need to charge maybe midday or even 2 or 3 times a day. Well, it's the bike for that because it's so quick to charge. Other batteries will take 8 to 6 hours. This is only the 2. Now, it is a foldable bike, and here we have the part where it folds. And it sits flush. This is really solid. I felt absolutely no flex in this whatsoever. So there's a little security here just to make sure it's always locked into place. You need to push that forward, then you pull on the lever, and then you can part the bike in half. And it's the same kind of system here for the handlebars. So you pull that up, and then you can pull down on the lever, which is a little bit tight. You can see this is where it latches in. Once you do that, the handlebar can then collapse. So this is what it looks like in its collapsed form then, folded in half and the handlebars down. I can also drop the seat down if I wanted to make it a little smaller. So this is ideal for storing it away. Maybe you want to fit it under a stairwell, or you need to just put it in an area where it's not going to take up as much room. And I wouldn't be doing this a lot myself personally because it is a bit heavy to lift the bike and move it around, and it's almost 35 kilos. So what is the ENGWE Pro 3.0 boost like to ride? So it's a bike that is heavy, a nice, big, large, comfortable seat that I pointed out, and a riding position that is very upright thanks to the high handlebars. You can see they're very high here, and I've got them in the lowest position, in fact. I could even pull them up to be quite a bit higher. So getting on the bike, it's not too bad. The kickstand, just to point that out, it's a standard kickstand that I've seen pretty much everywhere on these kind of bikes, and it handles the heavy 35 kilo weight just fine, no problems with that. Now we have a torque sensor, so when you start to ride the bike, that is going to kick in and give you that power straight away. You don't have to wait around for a speed sensor to cut in or out, which can often happen. And I do find with these lock grips they have with the palm supports, they're very good, and the brakes, as I pointed out, those levers or hydraulics here have a good feeling to them. So as soon as I start to pedal, I am getting that assistance from the motor. So we have 1 to 5 pedal assist levels, the maximum being the 250 watts nominal power and up to 90 Newton meters of torque. Now, one thing you do notice with the bike, just crossing the road safely here, is that it has some weight to it. You feel it in the steering, especially with these fat wheels. Now I'm running at the front only 10 PSI, so they're nice and spongy, and 12 on the rear. The maximum is about 20 PSI you want to put in the fat wheel, so 4 inches wide. And you just feel it when you turn. You notice if you come from skinnier tires, you move over to the fat tires, you do feel it in the turns, but the torque sensor works really well. And it's a spongy, smooth ride. That's what the fat tires are all about. Just them soaking up those little bumps, impurities in the ground, the cracks and everything. Does a good job. And of course, we have the full suspension that I pointed out with the bike. And on to the climb test. So this is a 20-degree climb. I'm in the 3rd gear, and I know that in the 3rd gear I can handle this with ease. The torque sensor working really well. So the more I give it, the more it gives me in return. With the power delivery, it is very smooth. As soon as I stop pedaling, it cuts out, but it's not super quick to cut out. There is about a half a second delay there. So if I just pedal a little bit more and get the bike up to a comfortable about 13, 14 kilometers per hour climb up this, and then the boost mode, suppressing this, you can feel, whoa, suddenly I've got a lot of power. Torque goes up to then 90. Newton meters of torque, and you really do feel that. So I could even go up a few gears, hit the boost button again, and I am rocketing up this climb. So this is amazing performance for an EU legal e-bike with its wattage and the 25 km/h speed limit. Now, if I turn off the motor, I just get it in the first gear first and put this into pedal assist level number 1. Whoa, wow, ugh. You really feel this. And I'm a mountain biker. I do a lot of climbs for fitness, and this is gonna give me a real good workout, especially with these fat tires. And then the emergency brake test. So from 30 km/h, try and hold that speed. We've got 180mm hydraulic disc brakes. So from this white post here, full emergency brake. Wow, that happens to be one of the best results ever, just past that mark. This is well above average in terms of braking performance. So I don't know the brand, it doesn't state that they're Tektro, Shimano, or anything, but they work well. The pads have got plenty of bite to them, and aided by the fact that I am running only around 10 and 12 PSI, spongy fat tires, providing a lot of traction, much better than the knobbly tires they normally have on these fat-wheeled e-bikes. I think this urban style tire was a very good choice from ENGWE. Now, it's a bit of a windy, rough day here. This is my 3rd day of testing with the bike, so you might see some of those shots. It looks all nice and sunny and calm. Well, unfortunately not today, but I'm riding along this very rough walking path here that has all these cobblestones that are up and down, and this is where the front and rear suspension of the ENGWE Pro 3.0 Boost is doing really well to soak up these bumps, and of course those lower tire pressures, the fat, spongy tires. It isn't bad at all going along here. Now, I wouldn't take this bike along some serious off-road trails. It's not really designed for that. And besides, it has the road tire or the urban tires on it, not those knobbly off-road tires, which, as I just mentioned before, is actually a good choice for this style of bike, I think. What about the range now then of our ENGWE Pro 3.0 Boost? Well, it has been very good. So they claim up to 130 kilometers if you're using the lower pedal assist levels, which I do happen to believe, because they say 80 kilometers if you're using pedal assist level 5 of 5, which is the absolute maximum. That's what I've been using, and I am almost at the 80 kilometer mark, just a little bit short, so just over 70 kilometers. I've had a couple of big climbs as well. So that's pretty good for 20-inch size wheels that it does have. So the fat tires, you either love them or you hate them. And I think that ENGWE's done a really good thing by using more of a street style tire, not the knobbly tread that we normally see. We normally get the Chaoyang tires or CST, and they don't have very good rolling resistance. Most people, let's face it, will be riding this on pavement or on road or maybe gravel tracks or something. And so I think that the tire that's on this is more suitable to that. Maybe not so much the gravel, you want knobbly for that, but most people will be riding this around, I think, the city. For city commutes, this is really ideal. And it's going to be great for people that maybe do food deliveries. I've seen a lot of bikes like this, especially when I was in London recently, and that have the parcel on the back with the food inside there and be doing the deliveries, the home deliveries, maybe Uber Eats and Just Eats and those kind of delivery services, because this bike charges in just 2 hours. And most of the other bikes you're looking at 4 to 6 hours, which are very slow and not ideal for them. So this is a bike that I think would be definitely worthwhile a look if you happen to be one of those delivery drivers there. The display is nice and large. We've got the built-in GPS 4G modem, and that is great for anti-theft. You can see where the bike is. You have the app support with that too as well. The only thing is this does slowly drain the battery because of the constant connection it has. It's pinging its location, the GPS, and that will slowly drain the battery. It takes a while, but if you leave the bike for a couple of weeks, don't be surprised if you come back and your battery, instead of being at 80% where you left it, it might now be at 50% or something. So that's one thing to factor in. The frame quality is excellent. I like the matte paint job, and they've really made this bike solid. Torque sense is excellent. The climbing performance, as I showed you, fantastic with the boost mode. And the brakes, hydraulic disc brakes, 180 millimeters, work exceptionally well. And I would say this is probably the best braking fat-wheeled e-bike that I have tested, at least as of late, the last couple of years, because it was able to stop well before any other one of these bikes due to the tread pattern with these tires, and then the hydraulic disc brakes just working so well. 180 millimeters helps over, say, 160 millimeters. The lights on them are excellent. Minor complaint that the tail light here doesn't turn on when you brake. It's always on when the bike's on, which is good for safety, and gets a little brighter when you turn on the front headlight. All up, this is probably one of the best fat-wheeled e-bikes that I have reviewed and covered and tested out. And it is a little bit on the pricey side, but you get the extra features here. The brand battery being Samsung, the torque sensor, the great brakes, great frame, and a foldable design if you did need that. So the downsides are what I already pointed out. GPS and the 4G modem is a minor battery drain when not in use. The other is the obvious one with all of these bikes, really, the fat-wheeled e-bikes, is this, that, oh, yeah, it's heavy. It weighs about 35 kilos, and it's not a bike that you want to have to lift up a flight of stairs every day, because that's going to be a hell of a workout, and you probably end up looking like Rambo after doing that all the time. So there we go. That's my review of the ENGWE, the Engine Pro 3.0 Boost. Thank you so much for watching.